Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Explanation of a summary of Aqeedahtul Hamawiyyah of Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. فتح رب البرية بتلخيص حموية للشيخ إسلام ابن تيمية شرحه إمام محمد بن صالح العثيمين, explained by Imam Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymin rahimahullah. And today we read chapter 2. The Prophet's message includes the true explanation of the foundations of the religion and its detailed matters. The message of the Prophet ﷺ is comprised of two things: beneficial knowledge and righteous actions, just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, هو الذي أرسل رسوله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله ولو كره المشركون. It is he who sent his messengers with the guidance and the religion of truth to benefit over all religions, although the mushrikun hate it. The guidance is the mushrikun hate it. Surah Al-Tawbah, ayah 3, surah number 9. The guidance, the beneficial knowledge, which the religion of truth is the righteous action that is based upon sincerity to Allah and following His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And beneficial knowledge includes any knowledge that contains a benefit to the ummah for its life in the dunya and the hereafter. The first of knowledge that enters into that is the knowledge of Allah's name, His characteristic, and His attributes and His actions. Knowing this is the most beneficial of all sciences, and it is the most superior of the divine message. It is the summarization of the prophetic da'wah. By it, the religion is established in statement, action, and belief. For this reason, it is impossible to think the Prophet ﷺ will neglect this knowledge and not completely explain it, leaving no doubts regarding it and repelling all uncertainties. This is impossible from various perspectives. Firstly, the Prophet ﷺ message contains light and guidance. Allah sent him as a bringer of good news, as well as a warner, as a caller to Allah by His permission, and a shining lamp, so much that He left His ummah upon a clear white path. Its light is as clear as its day. No one deviates from it except that he becomes destroyed. And the greatest of lights and the most significant is what the heart obtains from knowing Allah, His names, attributes, and His actions. Therefore, there is no way that the Prophet ﷺ did not explain this knowledge with the most important of explanation. Secondly, the Prophet ﷺ taught his ummah everything that it needs from the affairs of the religion and the dunya. He even taught the manners of eating, drinking, sitting, sleeping, etc. Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu said, Allah's Messenger died and there is no bird that flaps its wings except that he mentioned to us some knowledge about it. There is no doubt that the knowledge of Allah, His names, attributes, and action is included under the general principle. Rather, it is the first and foremost due to the extreme need for it and necessity of knowing it. Thirdly, Iman in Allah, His names, attributes, and action is the basis of the whole religion and the summarization of the call of the messengers. It is the most serious of education and the best of what the hearts gain and the best of what the intellect perceive. So how will the Prophet ﷺ neglect it without teaching and explaining it when he taught what was of less importance and virtue? Fourthly, the Prophet ﷺ was the most knowledgeable person of his Lord. He was the most sincere advisor to the creation and the most eloquent in conveying and explaining the message. Therefore, it is not possible with this complete conveyance that he will leave explaining the issue of Iman in Allah, His names and attributes, leaving it unclear and questionable. Fifthly, the companions radiallahu anhum must have spoken correctly concerning this issue, Allah's name, attributes, and actions, because the opposite of this will either be 1. That they remain silent regarding it, or 2. That they spoke falsely concerning it. Both of these are impossible regarding the companions. 1. As for this point that the companions remain silent on the matter of the Aqeedah of Allah's names and attributes, then this is impossible due to the following reasons. Either their silence was due to their own ignorance of what Allah obliged regarding the names and attributes and what He has made permissible and prohibited, or their silence was based upon a certain knowledge they had regarding that, yet they conceal it, and both of these are also impossible. As for their remaining silent due to ignorance, then there is no heart with life, awareness as such of knowledge, and a desire for worship, except that its greatest concern will be the search for Iman in Allah and knowing His names and attributes and actualizing that with certain knowledge and Aqeedah. There is no doubt that the best generations the best of them being the companions, were the most complete of people regarding the life of the heart, loving of good and actualizing beneficial knowledge. For this the Prophet ﷺ said, خير الناس قرني ثم الذين يلونهم ثم الذين يلونهم. The best of people are in my generation, then those who follow after them, and then those who follow after them. This preference is in general, is general, encompassing their virtue in everything that brings one closer to Allah, from statement, actions, or beliefs. In addition, if we assume that the companions were ignorant of the truth regarding this matter, then the ignorance of those who come after them will be even more obvious. It's because knowing what is affirmed to Allah of the names and attributes of what is negated from Him is only learned by way of messengership, and the companions are the intermediary between the Messenger ﷺ and the Ummah. So based upon this assumption, it means that no one has any knowledge regarding this matter, and this is obviously unreasonable. As for their remaining silent truth, they are concealing the truth. Every intelligent and just person who knows the situation of the companions anhum, and they are concerned with spreading the beneficial knowledge and conveying it to the Ummah, will never accuse them of concealing the truth, especially not in the most serious and obliged of all matters, knowing Allah, His names and attributes. In addition, there has already come from them many true statements regarding this issue, and anyone who seeks them and follows them will know about this too. As for the point that the companions spoke incorrectly on the matter of the Aqidah of Allah's names and attributes, then this is false for two reasons. First, speaking falsely about an issue will mean that it will not be possible to base any sound proof upon such statements. Moreover, it's known that the companions are the fathers of people in speaking about a matter upon which no sound proof could be based, especially if the matter in it is in regards to Iman in Allah and the affairs of the unseen. As so, they are the first people to practice Allah's command. وَلَا تَقُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ إِلْمٌ, and don't pursue, say, that which you have no knowledge of. Surah Al-Isra, Ayah 36. Handy statement. قل إنما حرم رب الفواحش ما ظهر منها وما بطن والإثم والبغي بغير الحق وأن تشركوا بالله ما لم ينزل به سلطانا وأن تقولوا الله ما لا تعلمون. Say, my Lord has indeed forbidden immoralities, whether committed openly or secretly, sins of all kinds, and righteous oppression, joining person in worship with Allah, for which He has given no authority, and saying things about Allah what you don't know. Second, speaking falsely about any matter has its origin based either upon true ignorance of the truth or upon a desire to misguide the creation while actually knowing the truth. Again, both of these are impossible pertaining to the rights of the companions of the Allah anhum. As for the impossibility of a true ignorance of the matter, then this has already been explained. As for the impossibility of a desire to misguide the creation, then this will be a very evil objective. It is impractical to think this will come from the companions, those who are known for the absolute advice and concern for the well-being and love of good for the Ummah. In addition, if you hold that it is possible for them to have evil objectives and intentions regarding this matter, then we must also hold the possibility that they will likewise have evil intention in what they said regarding all the other subjects of knowledge and religion. In this case, placing trust upon the statement and information about this subject will pay advantage. Of course, this is one of the false set of occasion because it will constitute a slander against the whole Sharia. Therefore, it is clear that the companions of the Lord who must have spoken truthfully and correctly regarding this matter. Then they were speaking either simply from the intellect or by way of revelation. The first is not probable because the intellect cannot possibly perceive all of the details of what Allah has obliged regarding His type of perfection. Therefore, the second opinion is left, and that is that they learn this knowledge by way of the message of the Prophet ﷺ. If so, then that will necessitate that the Prophet ﷺ explain the truth regarding Allah's names and attributes, and this is the required belief.